for, for. That's. Hello, we are reading from the writings of Rash article. What does it mean that the right must be greater than the left in the work? You can find the materials in the study materials tab in the year system. You can also send question, and if you ask question in the study hall, stand up, get the microphone close to your mouth and ask loud and clearly. Article. What does it mean that the right must be greater than the left in the work? The writes that the priest should bless the people each day by pointing out the fingers, since the fingers imply the upper one. The 5 on the right are more important than those on the left, since the right is more important than the left. Therefore, in the blessing that the priest blesses the people, the right should be raised higher than the left. We should understand what is right in the work, what is left in the work, and why the right is more important than the left. It is known at in the order of man's work when wants to achieve the adhesion with the Creator, which is equivalence of form, meaning to do everything in order to bestow. We should make 2 discernments, one a state of wholeness where everything he thinks and does has no deficiency, a state of deficiencies where everything he thinks and does is full of deficiencies. We need both of those states. The state of Hess is in order to receive vitality, joy, and pleasure from his states. When a person feels deficiencies in everything he does, he has nothing to live on, since man was created with a nature that he must receive pleasure as long as he's alive. This stems from the purpose of creation, which is because of his desire to do good to his creations. In the words of this is called Z coupling to sustain the worlds, since without vitality the world will be cancelled. Hence the matter is called perpetual Z coupling. This can be only if a person is content with little and is happy with the share that he has, and says that he does not deserve more than the rest of the people in the work. This is considered that he is happy with his share, with the fact the Creator gave him a desire and craving to do something. In other words, he's happy that he can observe to, even without any understanding and without any intention. He says that he sees that there are many people who do not even have the little bit of engagement in work that he as in corporality. A person who wants to be content with little should look at people who live happily, although they do not make even half the income that he does. This he can be happy with his share in corporality. The same is true for spirituality. He's happy with his share when he sees that there are people who have no grip at all on, while he is happy that he has some grip on. From this he derives vitality, meaning he can glorify and praise the Creator for giving him some grip on. We must remember that the gratitude that a person gives to the Creator at that time he's in a state of closeness to the Creator, because the gratitude that one gives is for the present and the past. It follows that he can be in hope when a person prays to that he will fulfill his heart's wishes. He should strengthen during the prayer with faith that the Creator hears the prayer of every mouth, otherwise his prayer cannot be from the bottom of the heart, since he must believe that the Creator hears every mouth. Said that during the prayer one should believe what is written, for you hear the prayer of every mouth, where every mouth means even a mouth that is unworthy, meaning full of deficiencies and devoid of merits. Still the Creator helps everyone only if a person prays from the bottom of their heart, meaning believes above reason in what is written, that the Creator hears every mouth. Only then can one pray with all his heart, meaning without any doubt. It follows that when one works in the manner of the left, meaning looks and sees that he is bare and destitute and wants the Creator to satisfy his wishes, then it is difficult for a person to believe that the Creator will help him, and he needs great strengthening so he can pray with all his heart. For this reason a person does not receive vitality from the prayer for deficiencies, since he's living in Doubt that is he sees that he prayed several times, and it is as though the Creator does not hear his prayer. Therefore it is hard for him to derive vitality from prayer in the manner of the right when he walks on the path of wholeness and is happy with everything he does from the privilege that he has that the Creator lets him do something in. At that time it is forbidden to look at their deficiencies, since one takes vitality only from wholeness. Therefore a person must make every effort to see that the Creator is complete with all the virtues, and depict to himself every depiction in the world about how he leads the world in utter perfection, as said one should believe above reason that the Creator leads the world in complete delight and pleasure, point that there is nothing to add to it, and although a person cannot see this before he achieves the desire to bestow, he should still believe that this is so. Therefore follows that when one walks on the path of wholeness and thanks the Creator, he already knows if he thanks the Creator because he already has faith in the greatness of the Creator to some extent, and this is why he thanks the Creator for the Creator summoning a lowly person like himself, the servant, meaning observe his be to observe something in, because the Creator has given him a thought and desire to do something. In this is considered that the Creator has summoned a person and told him, I'm giving you permission to enter the palace of to do some for me. It follows that a person has no doubt about the gratitude that one gives for the past and for the present. Otherwise, if he does not go completely above reason, is powerless to thank the Creator. Conversely, a prayer is for the future. At that time he does not know for sure that the Creator will help him, since he cannot say anything about the future. It follows that although one should work in the manner of the right as well as in the manner of the left, and we explained that right means wholeness, which should be perpetual, since only from wholeness can one derive vitality. A person cannot engender a higher level because he has no deficiency. Thus who says that he should go forward, which is considered that he should engender a higher degree, which is called in the words of the for begetting souls. This is not permanent, but only during an ascent. In other words, wholeness that he engages in, although it is an act without an intention, to him it is important and he is happy with his share, since from this a person receives vitality. Said above, this is called a Z to sustain the worlds, which is mercies in the manner of for he desires mercy. He does not need anything and he's happy with his share, and this is called a perpetual Z. However, in order to achieve a higher degree, which is called a to beget soul, since the meaning of engendering souls can come only from deficiencies and not from wholeness. This is as it is written in the Zahi, who comes to purify. That is when a person sees that he's impure, meaning he's lying under the governance of the will to receive, which is the T within man's heart, and he does everything and cannot emerge from the control of the will to receive. At that time he prays to the Creator from the bottom of the heart to help him. Then what our sages said, he who comes to purify is aided. Calm, and the Zor asks with what, and he replies with a holy soul. We therefore see that specifically from deficiencies we can beget a soul, meaning from a prayer from the bottom of the heart. By this we can interpret the words of that the for engendering the souls is not perpetual, but is specifically during an ascent. This means that when a person wants to ascend to a higher degree each time and achieve a higher soul, he must search in himself for a lack to fill. This is specifically when he demands help from the Creator, causing him the birth of new souls. In other words, specifically when he does not settle for less and feels his deficiency, it causes him to be given from above more of a soul until he obtains the in his soul. It follows that the way of the right, meaning wholeness, should be perpetual, because a person must do everything with vitality, and from deficiencies a person has no joy, so as to derive vitality from being deficient. For this reason the left, which is a lack from which one does not derive vitality, since when a person sees that is deficient, can he be happy in general? A person should always be on the right line only some of the time he's used to dedicating to, and work he should set a special time when he is not in death, specifically when he is in ascent. At that time he will be sure that he will not fall into a state of sadness when he sees his deficiencies. Rather, then he will be strengthened. He will be able to give a heartfelt prayer, meaning that the Creator hears the prayer of every mouth will illuminate for him during the prayer. But during the rest of the hours of the work he should walk only on the right path, since on the right path he's always in wholeness with the Creator. At that time he receives from the surrounding light, as the AR says that the surrounding light shines from afar. That is said that even when a person is still far from equivalence of form, meaning even when a person has still not been rewarded with the desire to bestow, the light still shines for him, and from this a person receives vitality and joy, whereas with the left it is to the contrary. According to the above, we should interpret what is written among these: the land shall be divided for an inheritance, to the large you shall increase their inheritance, and to the small you shall diminish their inheritance. The interpreters of the Torah ask, if it says to the large you shall increase their inheritance, it is obvious that to the small you shall diminish their inheritance. So why the repetition concerning the small? We should interpret this in the work. In the work it is known that we learn everything in one person. That is, to the large you shall increase, and to the small you shall diminish, applies to the same person. We should therefore interpret large and small. Large means whole, and small means deficient, as we learn. The right line is called wholeness, hence the right line is called large. As one says, any grip that I have on the work, he believes that the Creator has given him the thought and desire to observe, and he says that he is not more important than the other people. Rather, as before he began to work on the left line, he had vitality and pleasure in the work that he did. He knew that it was very important, and he would certainly receive a great reward for this. So now that he has begun to walk on the left line, he should be in a state of humbleness, as it is written, be very, very humble. In other words, even after he has begun to walk on the left line, to see his deficiencies which the left line shows him, he received from the state of his heart was high in the ways of the Lord. But now that he is working in the state of the right, when he should lower himself, this is a lot of work, because they are called two writings that deny one another, and this was not so when he was walking on one line. Yet such are the ways of the Creator. Person should believe in the sages that such is the order of the work. It follows that there is a huge difference in the work between his work being in the right or being in one line, but according to what we learn, we need two lines. Both cannot be at the same time in the same subject, rather they can be one at a time. Now the question will be that if we need two lines, and we must dedicate some time to the right and some time to the left, the question is how much of one's work should he dedicate to walking on the right line? How much time should he dedicate to walking on the left line? According to the above said, we should interpret what is written to the large you shall increase their inheritance. Large means work that is called wholeness, and right line which is called large, meaning wholeness. You shall increase their inheritance means that you will increase the time you dedicate to the right line, given much of your time of engagement in when it says, and to the small you shall diminish their inheritance. Diminish means to lessen, and deficiency called left line, where one begins to contemplate what he has gained when he left the one line and began the work of bestow. He sees that not only did he not advance in the work, but he even regressed. That is, now he does not have the vitality in joy he had while walking on one line. Although he prays to the Creator to give him the power of the desire to bestow, he sees that he has prayed many prayers for this, but he is not being noticed from above so many times he wants to escape the campaign. Although the work on the left line is important for the birth of the souls, comes specifically from the left line must still believe in faith in the sages that we can engage in the left line precisely at a time of ascent, for then a person is strong and can overcome the left through prayer, but only for a little while, as it is written, to the small you shall diminish their inheritance, where diminish means that you will not dedicate to it much of your work time. It follows that the word small has two meanings. One, small as in deficient, such as when saying this person has little income, too little time. It follows that when it writes to the small you shall diminish, and diminish means a lack, diminishing in the work of best, and diminish is diminishing in time, accordingly should interpret what it means, that the right should be greater than the left in the work, and also what it means that the Zohar says that when the priest blesses the people, he should raise the right higher than the left. You should interpret that right indicates his, which is means that he does not need anything except to give. Therefore, when a person feels his loneliness and says that the Creator is doing with him by giving him some grip on Torah and work, thanks the Creator for this. Therefore, when we speak in the work about the priest who blesses the people, since all matters pertain to the same person, the priest is a servant of the Creator. He blesses the people, meaning the person himself called the people in the work. It is as our sages said, therefore each one must say, the world was created for me. For this reason in the work we learn the whole world within one person. He must raise the right higher than the left in order to know that the right is more important than the left. Although from the left we are rewarded with the birth of new souls, yet when a person engages in deficiencies, he cannot receive from this vitality. For this reason he must work on the right, as well comes to tell us that we should dedicate the majority of our time to the right. This is why he says that the priest must raise the right above the left, since the right is more important, and in the Zohar he says the most important thing is that the left will not be greater than the right. This is the meaning of what our sages said: one of inferior degree receives a woman. A person should descend from his degree in order to receive a wife. There he speaks in the manner of degrees in the upper worlds, as above in the upper degrees, so it is below in man's work. Even for one is rewarded with opening the eyes in the Torah. There the meaning of left is when the light of shines, which is in vessels of reception. Certainly this should be in order to bestow, and he still did not receive the right, which is light of small. It is called left because everything where there's a deficiency is called left. At that time the path of correction is that the light of called right should be greater than the light of that is the light of must not take more than half a degree, and the light of which is right, which guards the light of so it stays in order to bestow be greater than the light of. At that time the light of exists in their degree, and this is the meaning of the priest when he blesses should raise the right above the left, meaning should be more important than the left. This is the meaning of what is written. This is the meaning of one who is in of inferior degree receives a woman. It means that when a person comes to receive the light of which is called, should not take her in her state of rather inferior degree, meaning when one comes to receive the light of called woman, which is one should try that she will already be in a state of descent, meaning that she is only half of what she had. At that time he can receive, and there will be more than then. The words one of inferior degree receives a woman will come true according to the above said. We should interpret what is written. Rabbi said one should always precede prayer to trouble. We should interpret that one does not go into the work of the left before he first worked in the manner of the right, which is regarded as wholeness, meaning that he does not lack anything, and he thanks and praises the Creator for giving him some grip on the work of the Creator, and then he begins the work of the Left at that time he sees that he's in trouble, that he has neither Torah nor work that is suitable for one who is serving the Creator. At that time he feels how far he is from the work of the Creator, meaning from working for him, namely working only with the aim to bestow contentment upon his Maker, and not at all for his own benefit. At that time he sees how the body object to this, as he does not see that he will ever be able to do anything only in order to bestow. Follows that when he begins the path of the left, this is called trouble. He has no other choice but to pray to the Creator to help him and give him the desire to bestow, called second nature. At that time the prayer is from the bottom of the heart, and the Creator hears his prayer. Accordingly, we should interpret what our sages said: one should always proceed prayer to trouble, since it is impossible that when he comes, it is possible that when he comes to work in the state of the left and sees the state of loneliness he's in, he might fall into despair and want to escape the campaign. This is called trouble, and he must proceed with a prayer. Mean first see if he will have the strength to pray when he's in a state of trouble. Otherwise he must not begin the work of the left line. This is the meaning of what they said, that the priest who blesses the people should raise the right higher than the left. In other words, the right should be greater than the left. This means that he must wait for the right time to exit from the work of the right to the work of the left. We must remember that the work of the right, which is called holis, is the work of the general public, his work in practice, meaning he observes because of the commandment of the Creator, and in order to receive reward in this world and in the next world. This is called work in practice. But the intention to bestow, which is called the work of the left, this he does not touch. 8. A person feels wholeness during the work. This work of wholeness is called one line. That same work of wholeness of the general public, when he begins to work with the intention, that same online, meaning the practice of the general public, acquires a different name now. It is called right line. Hence, it is now difficult to shift to work on the line of wholeness of the practice when it receives a new name. Right. Maish, what is the impression? Okay, David. Yes, I wrote the whole page of questions here, how to work correctly on the right. There's a lot about that scrutinies. I feel they are worth doing. Yes, can I begin? Yes, go ahead. First of all, there's a matter that Rash says that one should depict to himself the greatness that by which the Creator leads the world in by way of good, and good that does good as much as one can. And then he comes to the stage where he dares it from Bassam, saying that we have to reach faith, and we know it's faith above reason. Here there seems to be a jump between the state where I imagine the greatness of the Creator, and when faith awakens in me towards the Creator, how to do it in a way that it's not within reason, but actually leads me to faith. That is your first question. Well, yes, okay, please ask again. What does it mean to paint the picture that the Creator leads the world as good that does good? It sounds like I depicted within reason all sorts of depictions, and then there's a state that faith awakens in me. Typically it's faith with above reason. It's the difference between what I depict and whatever comes to me close within me that I rise to that degree. So what is the difference in that? The difference is in the vessels. No. Well, yes, in one of the articles he writes that the state that he describes faith above reason needs to be so much that it's even within reason, and then it helps him reach that reason, meaning the state of faith above reason. He depicts it within reason, that this is the state he truly wants to have, and this is what a person should reach, or more precisely. He gives an advice to take the left line during the ascent, but specifically during the ascent he will be sure not to fall to a state of sadness when he sees his deficiencies, rather than he will be strengthened, so he can raise a prayer from the bottom of the heart, meaning that the force of confidence will shine to him while he prays, that the Creator hears the prayer of every mouth. The prayer from the bottom of the heart during the ascent, we usually say from the bottom of the Heart is, when well in a state that is not so, whole. So how to raise a prayer from the be of the heart during an ascent. Why is this impossible? So that's the work, yeah. It's the work prayer from the bottom of the heartfelt prayer during the ascent. Thank you. What more? Why do we even need to go into the left line to plan that? And anyway, we're being pushed there all the time. How do you walk 2 legs? Yes, but I could always be on the left. How do I look for even going more into the left? Shouldn't we always just hear for the right, and the left will come from above? No, we need specifically to manage ourselves on both lines. What does it mean to enter the left line? Criticism. I still didn't understand why the right is more important than the left. The left gives us the ability to beat new souls, yes, but it's not a direct connection with the purpose of creation. It's not wholeless if both lines have advantages and each contributes to the spiritual development. Why is the right better than the left? Why does it sound like the left is more contemptible than the left? The right, the left reveals to you the deficiency, and the right promotes you truly to a new state. This is why it's as if the right is preferable to where left. Thanks to the left we have progress. On the right, that is true, it's true. There's nothing I can't say about that. But nevertheless, we respect the right more. We respect the left because it is something that scrutinizes for us the corrections, and it awakens in us the need correction. This is the question: why is the right more respected than the left? Each has its own contribution to development, yes, but still on the right a person receives time revelation of the purpose of creation, whereas the left reveals what you're lacking. Another question: it says in the article how much time you need to be on the right in wholeness and happiness, and how much in the left in deficiency. What kind of control does a person have over this? It seems like we're just thrown from one state to the other. No person is able, well, not always, certainly, but a person is able be on the right and also to be on the left according to his decision. How does a person control both the right and the left? How can he be capable of that? Now, by being adhered to the right, always praying to the Creator, elevating Him, honoring Him, so he's on the right. Sometimes he gets signs that he's not so much in his. So from that Mr. tries to reach the wholeness of the midline. That comes from the left. You're saying a person can be on both the right and the left based on his decision. Yes, I can refuse not to be on the left for, let's say, like to decide that now I'm on the right. Can a person decide if he hear or though it's actually your work? Yes, what does it mean that I now decide that I'm on the right? Adhere to the positive forces if we can say so, and you want to be in a faith about reason, and by that you elevate yourself. What does it mean to be to decide to be on the left, to decide to be on the left? That is much harder work. It's that you monitor your work, and in general you criticize your work in the world, and you awaken your vessels of reception in order to see how much they are ready to receive the purpose of creation. This is the work on the left. Work on the left is, I like it. It's more, how should I put it, when I realize that I'm not in my place. When a person is already on the work of the left, in the state of the left, should he delve into that state or resist it and escape to the right? No, we have to relate to it seriously. The work on the left is no less than the work on the right. However, the work on the left, it's the feeling of the vessels that are being revealed so that I can work with them, and then I can attach myself to new vessels. Last question: how to move. How do we move from left to right? From the left to the right, it's through prayer, through the prayer. Same faces you. We can perhaps divide our work to two parts. First part, it's all that the upper one, the Creator, brings on us from above, awakens the will to receive, gives power after the prayer so that we can overcome it, and that part that he sends on us, and then the response to it. The question is whether everything depicted in the article, including the Right and left, does that have to do with a response what he awakens? Yes, it's a with the state that a person goes through on the right and on the left. What I mean is that we always learned. That said, we have to focus on the right, and the left awakens by itself the more we adhere to wholeness and to justifying the situation that is still incomplete. Work right, and here something else is felt qualitatively different, so I thought that what it says here about the work of the left line is like the Rabash example when he told about his grandmother that when he did something bad she didn't hit him, or right then she would wait 2 or 3 days, and then she would give him the punishment, meaning she would take herself out of the egoistic feeling and then proved to herself to go back to that state and monitor the kind of punishment she gives him. So similarly, we need to detach from the emotion and awaken the left from a state where we're not connected to that emotion. Well, the fact that we work in the 10, this includes all of the conditions that the grandmother wanted to reach. No, that's it. I'll give it to him in the 10. The whole work we do, we want to reach a deficiency for the quality of bestow. We also teach this way that basically the light is incomplete rest and we only need the deficiency. So here in the article we also learned it yesterday, it somehow confuses me. The deficiency for the quality of ball is that the left line, or not efficiency for bestow, it is called the left line. Okay, actually, if it's the left line or right line, it's a some level that is imperceptible in our vessels. I think that if I had a deficiency for ball, I would be very happy. Even the fact that you have a deficiency for bestow, that's a left line, you need to be even higher than that. No, it just means indicates what height Rapash is talking about. We wish for each other to have a complete deficiency and pray for the then he calls it left line, meaning that it's still a deficiency, so we shouldn't develop it. According to the article, during the work in the 10 to try to ache for complete deficiency for the quality of ball, but only be in adhesion with the right that kind of work. No, this is not complete work, but it is a very important stage. We want to be adhere to the right line. It's a very important stage because from that you later on come to the left. That means that you continue your work in the correct way. G says that's why they said that the priest who blesses the nation needs to raise the right over the left, meaning that the right needs to be greater than the left, meaning that we have to wait for the time that is qualified to come out of the right and work on the left. What is that right time? How do you know when you can go into the left? I don't know that. I don't know. We don't know that. We try to be in that state. What does it mean to wait for what sign? The sign is that everyone will feel that they're on the right, rising over the left. They feel. What does it mean to be incorporated in the right? Then is correct to start as scrutiny in the 10. Yes, then it is possible already. Thank you. K. Sharmi PT question from PT W. When a person is in an int, he should look for deficiencies to raise a prayer. What is that place during the ascent where we find the deficiencies? When a person is tied to the desires of the friends and he feel s from within them a deficiency, a desire for ascent, and he raises that. But how does it come specifically from the right? From the deficiency. How? From the how in the Hess he finds deficiencies. He's in wholeness, but as he connects to others and wants to raise their deficiency, then he becomes incorporated with them and he raises their deficiency. That we actually by ourselves will arrange what states we're going through. Yes, if we work according to the method, then we see for ourselves how much we have to where we have to work on the right and when on the left and then go back to the right one. How can we be most of the time in the right? In S, it feels like we're ignoring reality, because reality is not like that. Each time you'll have an incorporation of left in the right that is greater, and then it's not ignoring the left, it's rather progress on top of the appearance of the left. So if I don't ignore the fact that there is no wholeness, how do I turn it into Hess? Again work with my left eye attach. It join it to the right by the light that reforms I. Want the light to fulfill me, and I'll be immersed in it, included in it. Why the attainment of higher degrees is called begetting new souls, because we each time receive new desires, and we join them to our state. This is called causing the getting of new souls. That's what we have for. Now okay, I have more here at the end. Yeah, he writes here, and as said person should believe above reason, how the Creator leads the world in after pleasure and perfection, so that nothing can be added, and even though a person is not yet rewarded with a desire to bestow, he cannot see that nevertheless he should believe that this is how it is. How do we reach this state, or how do we advance to such a state where I believe or feel that this is how it is, even though I don't feel it? I didn't understand. How do we reach a state where, as he writes here, even though a person is not yet rewarded with the desire to bestow and he cannot see it, he should still believe that this is so? Yes, how do we reach this state where we believe? How do we advance towards this kind of faith that the Creator is great and bestowing? If you don't feel it, but you accept it as a given, take it into account that the Creator is greater than whatever state appears. If we say that the 10 is our place of work, can we work on that point in the 10 between the friends? Yes, you're developing a deficiency, making room for where the Creator can be revealed. And then when he's revealed, you can say you see that you're incorrect contact with the Creator between the friends. He writes here, for example, that you have to see the Creator is great and believe it. The question is there a way to work between the friends in addition to what you said, in order to reach to develop this ability to believe even though you don't feel it? That's only in connection when you are incorporated with them and you really feel that you are among them, and then you can bless for the connection between them, and that is hold you this connection between them. We say many times also that we should see the friend as great, and if we don't feel it, we should still see him as great. So with the friend, maybe it is something where we can do this work because we can make an effort to get closer to him, and I can finally see him as great. Is it parallel to what we read here, to how we need to work with the Creator? I didn't understand. Let's say there's a friend, I don't feel that he's great, I don't feel it, but I do work with him. I try to connect him, I try to make him greater. The different forms that we're familiar with. Is this analog? Is this parallel to how we work with the Creator, that even though I don't feel he's great, I believe he's great? Are these things related or not? That's something similar. It's quite similar to somewhat when you should pray of their friends, put more emphasis on the right line on different qualities. Let's say one friend puts more emphasis on gratitude, another friend puts more emphasis on the greatness of the friends. Now in the connection in the 10, can we make it so that we will all adopt the approach of everyone, that each one will accept it because I feel I don't have all the qualities at the friends have? They're working in a different way on the right line than how I work. So how can I absorb it from them and give them? Also, this is what happens through I still feel that I cannot completely acquire the qualities they have. You don't need to be instead of all of them. You need to be incorporated with them. What is created as a result? You need to have faith that the deficiency that you have, it appears exactly in the way they lack that for connection, and then you go in there and add your deficiency for connection, and that brings everyone to a complete vessel, and then the right line becomes the right line of the 10, or it is still a no. It's already in the 10. Article is so strong and full of advice. Maybe it's while sometimes I was thinking to engage in it. Let's say after we read it for one day, the entire world clear, and on the next day to read it again, see seemingly what we brought as a result of our work, of our attempts, our efforts. Is it worthwhile to do that? Sometime it's worthwhile. I agree. Maybe you can help me discern between what we call ascents and descents. versus right line and left line, were these two things not related to each other. Unrelated, because indeed from this article it turns out that the right line is something that we can, well, at least I feel we can only achieve it together in the 10. I don't have a right line. I can't have such an inner awakening and say where I'm on the right line now. More than that, it describes a very special state here where a person or a 10 chooses to enter the left line only after the right line is truly there. Already it's emphasized, conspicuous when we are together. This place of together, it's only when we are in the A. Like an action, like our weekly meeting, they're following a less at the greatness of the goal. There is this place where I feel this Hess, but beyond that during the week, it's very hard for me to grasp this point where I say why there's a Hess here and now. I can get into this left without any fear. Sure, do you expect me to answer you? What I'm asking is the following: is there or how to reach this Hess of the right line together, not once a week, but once a day. Let's start with that wholeness of the right line. Seems like it's not such a problem. This line, the Hess of the right line, sounds like something that is very high, very special. I by myself, like I said, I can't reach it alone. Of course you can't, but still, it's kind of something that you can aim, that we can aim ourselves towards. So what should be the answer for what question then? How to reach more Hess called the right lines. So from there we can take the next step, which by the way I don't quite understand how to do that, but let's put it aside. Let's talk only about the right line, how to reach the Hess of the right line first of all. More frequently, let's say there's a matter of the right line when we all connect, and there's a matter of the right line that from within our connection we relate to the creator. So what state are you talking about? I'm talking about the second state, because the set of connection between us, it's seemingly more simple. That's what it sounds like, but the connection between us, which is directed towards the creator, that doesn't happen so much, at least that's how I feel. But from our efforts we can get there. Yes, the question is a simple one. Translate it to the ordinary language we use. How can we reach such a connection? Frequently, we together, we can actually relate to the create, because this is what's called right. That's how I understand. How do we connect in such a way that our connection will be aimed at the creator? Question, please. How about answers? Can. Yes. It brings me to the question I also had we hear that Sis would be sitting for an hour or two before the lesson. My question was, and it's exactly on the same topic, so I will ask it. Between 20 minutes from a state of a beast that just got up were required during 20 minutes towards the last 5 minutes already to reach a common prayer. I feel that as though we're doing it as an important presentation, like a format of what we would have liked to reach, but I don't think that during such a short time we're actually capable of truly reaching a state of connection. It takes more time of reading and greater effort. Maybe we reach that towards the end of the lesson. Do you think that we're missing some data to get to a shared deficiency that's aimed correctly, that becomes a single action? It's I have that question inside for a long time already. In the Rush articles, the social ratings, he explains how has to be built. There was a time for praise, time for gratitude, time for criticism. You also said that the work in one line isn't whole, and we have to go on two legs. Our connection in the lesson and the soon during the day is reading articles, workshops. That's one direction. It's always to the right. At some point the term of disappeared, where we sit and we scrutinize and gather. We do check ourselves. I'm not saying I don't know how much of it, what dosage, but it disappeared also because we have a world group we cancel and also intend. Should we do such work? Yes, and I don't know in what dosage. What dosage? I don't know. How important should it be to do such work? We need to constantly feel a deficiency in that vessel that we're talking about. We need to constantly feel that. He mentions in the article that first he has to see if he has forces to Pray while he's in time of trouble, otherwise he cannot enter the work of the left. Line Kabbalist also gave us like a tradition that you need 10 in order to pray to have the minin, and then he mentioned that the when it's in greatness, so he doesn't have to enter, but only when she's at half a degree, that when she awakens on her own, her greatness or deficiencies also. Yesterday in the noon lesson we learned that you have to knock his teeth out and not go with it, because if you start engaging with it, it will devour you. We have to come to society, yes, and there check if we and pray together. Then he says that scrutinizing the intention in order to bestow, that's called the left. That's where we scrutinize deficiencies, so there's like a feeling that during the day we need to hold on to the right to be happy that we're in and everything, but it should be the lesson, should be the place of prayer, because here we're like we're protected, we're in a physical we worked all day to try and be in wholeness to hold its greatness, because it's as if there's no better time to pray than in the lesson. This is what I get from the article, and to open it somewhere else, that's dangerous. I hear you, I hear B. One good morning, dear. Morning. So let's say we're we're walking in the right line, how to shift, let's say, to the left line when it's forbidden to look at. Yes, it's not that it's prohibited to look for deficiencies. Without deficiencies, we can't ascend, we can't raise, we have to have the lacks. The deficiencies I've created, the evil inclination I've created. The Torah is just the spice for the evil inclination. It all depends on the approach and how we approach the matter, but when we do approach, we see that we are constantly wanting to see first of all the deficiencies on one hand, on the other hand that we should have the force to turn them, to correct them, and receiving them the essence of creation. So how do we manage to be, let's say, in two lines? That means, let's say, to be in the right line and include the left line. We don't quite know how to do this in a clear way yet, but the Creator spins us this way and that way, and we advance in such a way in which it's as if you're taking a child with both hands, and he kind of works, he walks on both feet, but you're the one who's turning him once to the side and onto that side and once that way, and that's how he tries to activate his muscles until you can let go of him and let him turn around on his own. It feels as if let's say in the connection in the 10 at you when you're working L or walking in the right line, you're sort of less holding the left line to be able to work in the left line only through the right can. Yes, slowly an incorporation takes place here of the left and the right. Yes, thank you. Okay, wonderful. Now we need to go to the one. Shalom, hello, and thank you. If I can also participate in this discussion, the work in the 10 is very important, and without the 10 and the environment like you teach us, so we can't advance. But I feel that on the other hand, the work is also before the Creator, not only in this lesson, but also in other lessons. There are many times that the heart tends directly to request to the Creator, because he is the first and he is the left. So it could be I wanted to ask this order of 10 Creator can sometimes be understood from different directions, so I think it could help, because then the Creator can bring us back to their 10. So a lot of times friends have such a feeling that they want to turn directly to the Creator, so I wanted to ask what you thought, because in the end it's not always that easy, and you also have to go according to a feeling. If you turn to the Creator directly from yourself without incorporating in the society and building it's a complete system, then you will also not be able to receive from him a complete response, and it works out that you become bold from this side and from that side, both as far as the prayer and as far as the answering of their prayer. But the plea to the Creator is purpose, is incorporation, the direction is towards the T, towards incorporating, towards being together, but sometimes to change the order according to what you feel. But The purpose of creation is incorporation, and it's the highest goal, the highest value, no doubt it's always there. Said, just the order should be not always direct. You could ask the Creator to incorporate, as I hear the friends and I see that they're talking about it, so it's as if that is also allowed. I think that it feels that it could help. Okay, good, we'll move to Moscow. One says to be especially in the right line. Is that also about quantity? No, there's no such thing, only a qualitative relation. Turkish, Turkey 8. Fork, should a person yearn for the left while he is in the right, and to yearn for the right when he's in the left? Can someone repeat that? I didn't hear what he was saying. Should a person yearn for the left when he's in the right, and yearn for the right when he's in the left? It depends what stage he's in, but actually eventually we need to combine those two lines. Yes, morning of in the right line, we feel that our soul yearns for the Creator. It seems to me that that's our main state. Should we awaken the left or just receive it is a disturbance that disturbs us from the right. Now repeat it again, please. No, the translator. During the right we feel that our soul yearns for the Creator. That's our main is up. Do we awaken the left, or should we just receive it like a disturbance that takes us away from the right? No, eventually we need to relate to the left line like to the right line. It's not the work in which we want to cancel the left. No, rather on the contrary, the left helps us hold on to the goal no less than the right does. We need in a complete manner to receive both these lines, and eventually that is how we will be adhered in between us and in towards the goal. We see that the right is the point in my heart and the left is my body, the world around me. Yet we'll talk about that. How can a person calibrate himself in between the right and left line? How to calibrate myself in the right and on the left when he understands that the right is the main thing, but without the left one cannot calibrate the left, the right I mean. So as he is in this nice equal, you could even say, attitude towards these two lines in order to hold on to both of them, and between the two of them to relate to the purpose of life. Our key one, it's written that when you demand help from the Creator, you're the birth of new souls, and when you feel your deficiency, so that means you get a higher soul from above. How can we, when we try to work in the right, do we still connect the left in a way that will be worthy of new souls being born to the extent in which it's possible? But we want to go on the middle line. How to go in the middle line? Have to go on the middle line. It means to go on the right line and to discover the left line to the extent in which one can increase arrangement the right line, and that will be the mid line. How can I understand that? To the extent that the left is revealed, it will bring the middle. Will see it. Women. PT 33. Thank you. The question is the right on itself comprised of two forces? That on one hand he feels his loneliness, but also gives gratitude to the Creator. We will learn that soon. Thank you. Okay, can ask. Another during the article is explaining how to work with the vessels of reception in order to bestow, because in the end he describes that the light of cannot take more than half a degree, and yes here, right actually an advanced woman. 4. Question of a friend. When a person suffers, his prayer is stronger. How can you keep that strong prayer during suffering? We need to be connected in the group and to see how the suffering we've been through strengthen the group and arrange the group correctly towards the goal, and then in such a way we will be able to watch further over these means. Can I add something? Could you explain what it means in the article that it says that you can't take more than half a degree, or because we wouldn't have reflected light in order to catch the direct light? The reflected light is the vessel for the direct light, and we won't have sufficient intentions, rejection from the light that arrives to us, and then God forbid it will be in order to receive. Okay, guys, there's more friends here, but we need for maybe the feeling that everyone is in the quality Ofo meaning that I get the left or the right. I didn't understand was that a question. Yeah, I feel that everybody is bestowing towards me and I'm not doing it. I'm not in any quality. Is that the right or the left? You're not in anything in that case. In what form are you if you're saying that you are not in the left or in the right and you're not doing any action? That's a problem. Yes, maybe wants to add something. I think what he's trying to ask is if I feel that everyone is bestowing everybody's towards me and I'm not bestowing, so is that state called right or left? If everybody's bestowing towards me and I'm not, I can't be. Is that called that I'm on the left line or the right line? Not any line, not in the left nor in the right. You're not doing anything, you're just what you feel that they're bestowing to you. What actions are you doing in order to feel there must be some form of action on your behalf? This state is unrealistic, so he probably is doing some work if he feels that the question if that work is called left or right is working in connection. If he feels that everybody's bestowing towards him, he should say I don't know. The question is not what should he relate to when he determines a state. What should he relate to? What's his is being bestowed upon. Yes, I'm asking he feels that they're bestowing. Yeah, that everyone's bestowing upon him. What do they want and bestow? They want to reach a CLE of connection so they can discover the creator between them. So he's asking, and this work that takes place, where is he? Is he in the left when he sees that everybody's bestowing towards him, or is that called right? That he is a state that is whole, that everybody's bestowing towards him, or is he lacking something, or isn't he? Or is he in his? But what is he himself doing? Is working on connection with a friend. How can he connect there? Be without restriction. Screen reflected light. How can he do that? So that means that he's in the left because he sees that he's not in restriction. Screen and reflected light, but also in the left he can't identify that he's in that. Why? What is he lacking? He's missing the work everyone is bestowing upon him, and he feels like he's under their bestow, under their impact. He has no vessels to feel their bestow. I feel that everybody are doing actions of be everybody's good, and I feel a big deficiency in me. It's very difficult to be like them. So the question is, did I get an awakening from above on the left, or am I in the right? That I know that my friends, my environment are giving me some impulse to go ahead to discover the see. That's the question. Can someone repeat that? No. Well, I feel the question is don't complicate things for us, saying that when I discover that the friends are their greatest and I got an opportunity to be around them, so I come in loneliness. Sometimes when I'm in the loneliness I feel gratitude. Sometimes I feel shame. With a shame I turn to the left, and in gratitude I turn to gratitude. What's the mechanism? How to go to the right, how to stay in gratitude instead of their shame, because then the screen chatters. Do you know how to explain this? Another question for the question. He's saying I see that my 10 are in the right. They're in greatness, they're bestowing. The friends are doing huge things, great qualities. I on one hand, is it called that I'm in the right because I want to be like them, and I want to do like they're doing, and have an impulse to the right? Or is it called the left because I see how great they are and I'm not how they're bestowing, and I'm in the left? So he's asking, that's the question there. Great, am I in the right or in the left? By seeing that they're great, if I see that the friends are great, he just says that I am in the right awareness, the right consciousness of what they're in, but it doesn't mean that I too am in that state. I'm in that state. There's a difference between what you see and you being there. Clear? Yes, thank you. So how to overcome the state of shame that I'm ashamed I want to be like them? You simply need to annul yourself and incorporate in US, and then you will receive all the forces that you're lacking. Thank you very much. What do you want? I also wanted to ask about that. Practically about the work. Understand from you that the work in the right and the left, when people are making efforts and working in awareness that they want to advance in connection with the Creator. So the right, when I'm in a feeling that whatever happens, whichever state I'm in, I have a connection to the Creator, even a minimal creation, a connection, and I'm giving gratitude for and like a friend. For my 10 is during the day when I feel all kinds of deficiencies and things that supposedly awaken me from above to the left. So I just simply have to ask to be in wholeness, in some action, in connection with my 10, with the Creator, because now I'm afraid to be in this. I want to ascend from it, I want to run from it, but when I'm in the lesson or connection with the friends, I can take those records I had and now start trying to ask for them and use them for wholeness. And that's the work in the left. That's not really the work in the left line. The left line is his critique, it's examination, and you, what do you want? That's exactly it. He writes that the left you can work with when you're in forces, when you are in ascent, when you feel that you can engage in it, but these things can also come first when you want to run from them. So then when you open it, that's already work in the left. At I feel that I have the forces to strengthen myself to connect with the Creator with that left. Yes, okay. What are you looking at? I wrote something. He said there's a difference between what you see to actually being there. What are we talking about? There was a long question that a person sees a state, that the friends are great and so on, and you said there's a difference between what you see to actually being there. What does it mean? Being there, meaning that you're there together with them in connection, and upon this connection you're doing their correction. And what can a person, whether left, right, and what is he, a partner to the Creator, and what does he not only see but he's actually there again? And what is a person? A partner to the Creator. Instead of seeing, he also did something for it to happen, searching how to bring the Creator more vessels. The desire of the Creator is to be revealed amongst the created beings. So he is trying to evoke vessels that will want the Creator to be revealed through them. So in that state, when a person, he wants to help the Creator be revealed, supposedly. So what's the right in that state in which a person tries to connect to himself, or through him he's trying to connect additional vessels that for the Creator to be revealed in them? Yeah, that's called the right. Yes. So why is it wholeness if he wants something extra? Why is it still called wholeness? It will be called Hess when it will be called wholeness when it will reach its connection. For the time being, it's not wholeness if a certain vessel wants to reach now the Creator illuminating through it. It's not yet wholeness. It's nevertheless correction, but a correction of one CLE. And then what's called the left from this state, the left will be called after he reached the right, when he will want to connect a certain vessel to the Creator. Then in order to reveal this vessel in a greater way, will need to perform actions that this vessel will take on more desire to receive, that will be revealed in it more. And now when he was asking for greater desire in order what to discover more revelation of the Creator. Yes. So what's the end of that process after the left? I don't understand what state you're talking about. I heard you say that the right is someone who wants to reveal the Creator to the created beings. Yes, he reaches a state, then he wants addition, something even more. So he's already incorporated with them, and he brings this vessel to the Creator. Yeah, and the Creator is willing to fill this vessel, and that's an end of a degree. Then a new one begins. Yes, of course, each time the desire is revealed before a person and before the Creator, and the Creator fills it, it's the end of that degree. Okay, yes. We hear a lot, and also in the article, that we have to be a lot more in the right than in the left. That's like an ascent, but what actually happens in the work, at least what I feel, maybe others too, I don't know, that most of the time it's only LIF. I see, I want, that's our beast. And there are a few moments of mercy, sometimes in the lesson, sometimes in the 10, that maybe I have the right. I don't even know what it is, but let's say so, between what we read and study and between reality, it's two things completely different. It's like the exact Opposite it's 99% on the left and maybe a 1/4% and somewhere on the right is speaking about things that are so exalted, and it's like an opposite the old man searching for deficiencies 'cause he's also in the right, so he's searching a bit in the left for us. We're stuck in the left and the right, it's almost never that's our state. How can we change that? How do we reach a bit of what he's writing about? Except for the word connection, there is no such thing there, isn't it's you can laugh about it, but that's what we have, that's what we have. 10. Yes, is that work only when I'm in a state, or is there a type of work when I remember a state I went through and have to do something about it? So what does that work I remember depends on what deficiency you want to work on and arrange and observe. No can make it happen. Yes, he says that my father, my teacher. You have to believe above reason how the preacher is leading the world in the good, in such a way that there's nothing to add to. So right is completely above reason. Even if I feel and see something else, I always have to be in the right. That's constant work. And in the 10 we really try, because it's a commandment we hear from Kabbalists, and sometimes a complaint arises that it's not the right thing. You're lying, you aren't connected, it's all just lip service, and like an explosion that a person in a very authentic way understands that what he feels in his heart, and he says, I can't lie like you are liars, I'm not playing this game. So what can they do in order to help everyone be in this work? Because it comes from work, it's not that we're just in this. What could we do? What every friend to feel that the friends are truly with him together in the work, that it's not some joke that we're saying here, we're just talking for nothing. So you're connected to one another, you have to pass this feeling between everyone. How do we? Let's see, we're in the workshop, and how does that happen? Feelings pass from one to the other. Try and connect in your internality in a way that you will feel everyone works on the other in such a way, and that in this way you want to be connected. That's one thing. The other is that you want to remain in it, you want to be in this, that, and not in any other way. Thank you. I want, if possible, to connect to what this article seems this way, and also lately we're learning articles that seem very, very exalted, very high, very much. Now then we have to come and connect in the T. We need to kind of like crush ourselves on this and enter inwards. How does this thing take us there? Because I completely don't find any relevance between our daily work and these things. It's like in the stratosphere from where I am. So what's the correct attitude towards these exalted matters, so that they will help us in our daily work and not in some theory? When did we start studying in such a way? It's I don't know, maybe. Or what's the question? When did we start? The question, when did we start study? What? Reading the articles then articles in such a way, complete articles. It's already a long time, several good months we're reading the rubbish articles, all of them. Yeah, he's asking about what approach articles that engage in very exalted things. Discernment are very precise, a very exalted state that in my corrupted eyes appear as very distant from our daily work. We don't have any emphasis in choosing articles that have a certain complexity. We have one goal that you put before us. We just to go through all the rash articles, and that is what we're doing. We're not repeating the same article. Therefore, we're also coming to articles that are more complex, and those that we never studied before, ever. And now we left the last articles we left for our in articles that put an emphasis on the right line and the left line. He has a series of articles like that. Today was the first one that we entered of this series. We planning on throughout the week to also engage in articles on this topic. Gil, yes, they'll how really also are describing, and also on the other hand about friends who understand that there's a certain game here, that there's work we have to act certain ways, that has a role to bring us to something, not be disappointed from the game and not to leave the game. How through it to still come to those degrees that are so much higher than us, like says I understand that I'm here below and I understand that he's talking about something very great. This is exactly where I have this space, where I can enter how to not despair from this, not to think that it's too big for us and I have no grip on it whatsoever, what to hold on to. Maybe I don't know what to hold on, which article and what question. I only know one thing we need day to day to try, that's a preparation from the previous day, right? That I prepare myself and I come to. I reach the lesson every day and somewhat prepared with a preparation. And in this way I advance a bit more. We don't have any other ability. We received this form of work from KISS and we have to keep doing it. What should we grip onto? Nevertheless, because a drop and another drop, is there something to hold on to? Feel that we've nevertheless moved somewhere even a millimeter forward toward spirituality. That I'm sure we did. I hear that through questions. I see it in the actions. What you're talking about, obviously. Yes, but what do you want more? I don't know. There's those moments of grace where you're included in all the greatness of the friends of the whole CLE, of the presence of the Creator and the friends. Few moments like that, they're small, they're very fine, they're really moments of grace, that it's like a spirit that just wind that blows us forward, but they're usually small and thin, and reality is so heavy and strong that you're kind of like that wind is stopped. It's like there's no wind in the sails, and the question is how to collect this, how to get more air in that sail, because it's like you're in this little sailboat and you have to, I know, sail to the United States or something and go through the ocean. How I even go through that. So what do you RP on to? Here I think that we are advancing and advancing correctly and in a good way, in a nice way. If you want to go quicker, you can speed up your pace. Please agree in your tea that you are doing all kinds of actions that will help you advance. Nobody will resist that. What exercise can you recommend for us? Only connection. Look what he writes. Connection is still amorphic. It's like I don't know. It's like if I'm in the middle of the ocean, I don't even know where I'm if I'm going around in circles or really sailing in a certain direction. What kind of points of reference can we see that there's a shore somewhere? I feel like I'm close to the shore. I'm advancing or progressing towards a certain shore. As much as you advance, come closer towards the 10, and you see between you one force, one desire, one closeness. That's what needs to awaken you. That's what has to explain to you that you're advancing. That safe shore isn't something distant behind the sea. It's here right before you, as much as you build the connection between you as an inner vessel. Let's say you take that ship or whatever you call it, an external vessel, an estate, that you reach some shore, that it is already a desired state. What is to build this shore as much as you can depict to yourself what the next degree is, that it's connection between everybody without any spaces between each one to anyone, and that by this you take all the friends and want to be as one man with one heart, under the condition that the Creator is with you. This condition is not always clear. There's all kinds of feelings when we're together, but that condition that the Creator is with us sometimes clearer, more present. Sometimes it's prayer. There's nothing else to say. We want through many states and we've read a lot of pages. The question is how well we implement it in our hearts. No, I want about the last 4 questions that friends asked, if past the last paragraph in the article. There's this scrutiny that he does upon the work in perfection, the work of the collative. There's this move that happens that it becomes the right line, and before that he doesn't call it the right line, but rather he calls it the work in one line. It seems like the scrutiny that the friends are doing it this. If somewhat they feel that we're going in one line, that it's some perfection of some rule of all the study, those who study, or the whole people of Israel, and And some of us want to kind of like move to the right line that, as he calls it so, if possible the last paragraph please, maybe the reader can read and you can explain. We must remember that the work of the right which is called wholeness is the work of the general public, it is work in practice, meaning he observes Torah, and because of the commandment of the Creator and in order to receive reward in this world and in the next world. This is called work in practice, but the intention to bestow which is called the work of the left, this he does not touch. 1 line that same work of wholeness of the general public when he begins to work with the intention, that same one line meaning the practice of the general public acquires a different name. Now it is called the right line H. It is now difficult to shift to work on the line of wholeness of the practice when it receives a new name. Write it. Again we must remember that the work of the right which is called wholeness is the work of the general public, it is work in practice, meaning he observes T, and because of the commandment of the Creator and in order to receive reward in this world and in the next world. This is called work in practice, but the intention to bestow which is called the work of the left, this he does not touch. Hence a person feels wholeness during their work. This work of wholeness is called 1 line that same work of wholeness of the general public when he begins to work with the intention, same one line meaning the practice of the general public acquires a different name. Now it is called right line. Hence it is now difficult to shift to work on the line of wholeness of the practice when it receives a new name. Right now it's more clear, or the opposite. If during the whole article it seems to the intellect like you're starting to understand this, then the end it was on the left line and it became the right line. The right line we became the left line, and this whole paragraph reshuffles all the cards of the whole article as an example, yeah, with intention in order to bestow, which is called the work of the left. Intention in order to bestow is suddenly becoming the left line. If you could explain this, it would be excellent. The excerpt that we just read twice and create a little order here, or more again. Yek PT 30 is asking a question. There's a state, and there's my attitude to the state. So if I understand correctly, my attitude to the state will define whether I'm in the left or on the right. So the question is whether the feeling of shame actually can be both left and right. So let's say I feel shame or deficiency towards the friend I'm small, etc. But if I feel wholeness in that which is the best and most correct in that moment, then it's seemingly right. And if I feel it as a place for the work and the effort and the deficiency, it's left. And who was there? No, he doesn't want. Yes is the state where I'm starting to work in order to bestow. Do I start to recognize the do I start getting the recognition of evil, and how much I mean that, and what do I need to do the work? Yeah, here asking, so what's a question if it's the left? Say that he's des when I start to work in order to bestow to the friends. Yeah, I suddenly start to feel the recognition of evil inside that, and what I need to do. Yes, so through that I start to turn to the Creator. Nice, that's how we come closer. Yek, so what do you do with all the UN critiqued left that talked about at all day long? Comes to me, I went to work in the left, in very calculated times, like in the times, like it's written here, but the left is coming all the times. What do you do in those times? I don't know, it's that bad that you're constantly in a criticism towards their group, not just the groups, everything. It's not just me here said, also all of us all the time. What people want to change the world, it's not okay. Seemingly, what do we do in times when I'm not supposed to be engaged in left, but it nevertheless comes, which is most of the time. You need to check yourself. I checked, I'm on the left. You're on the left. Why are you on the left? It's being sent to me from above. Such thoughts come from above. Yes, from above. And what do you think you can do about it? We can avoid it completely. There's no I'm in love of friends. It doesn't exist like a Child, okay, just erase it. We could say it's there. And the question, and what, that's what I'm asking. Ask us. Please, what is the work? Meaning the left is there all the time. I'm supposed to work it on it for a little, short calculated time. It's happening all the time, so what do I do with it the rest of the time, or most of the do? You understand what he's asking? I really understand. We are in a reality in our generation, a lot of pressure, a lot of was a person without even paying attention is constantly in this state of distress. The left is in control all the time to say that there's a matter of joy, a true joy in life, that a healthy person should feel that kind of joy. We don't have that, and that is in control of us all the time. Naturally, even if we don't even talk about the deficiency that we're with, this force and sadness and all that it comes to a deficiency, we don't even know how to do it in a way that will bring us to joy. So we're also in a corporeal world, in pressure that brings us inner sorrow that's accumulating, and mentally as well. And here we're awakening a deficiency here that's supposed to bring us to something good, but eventually we are in a sea of LAX and not a sea of feeling, and a feeling of joy from the pleasure that, oh, we're living in the world of the Creator. So what are we lacking? The feel that we're in connection and joy for in our state, and we don't have that in corpor, and also not with us. So in this process we're in this state of distress. Maybe Egypt, this narrows, this pressure all the time. There's no right line of true joy where the heart is happy. It's greatly lacking in our generation, and it has an impact. I think it's actually similar to question of the friend, and that can be our work. I think that's exactly what we're trying to scrutinize. How from this entire reality, which is our responsibility, do we create a joyous state of connection and build such reality at least in us, with us, so it'll be a reality of joy that needs to constantly be right, and to a certain measure awakening the left. I agree. There's a friend that says it's not like that, but I feel in a more general way that it may be is this way. We are not in that joy that is supposed to be, meaning the deficiency is lowering us more. It needs to be there, but it's kind of like bringing us down, that we can't rise above it. Yes, we need the right here, just like Rabash is teaching us, because without the right we can't receive correctly this left in a healthy way, so it will enter in a good way. But if we understand that the right is in the hands of the Creator, and as much as we come close to Him and demand Him, we'll be closer to the right. We need to learn how to do that more, because we're talking about it, but we're talking about it from the point of the lack of for it, and not managing to get to the in practice state. We have a deficiency for the feeling of the Creator. We're feeling it as a deficiency. Tell me if little children want to connect in some circle and want to organize themselves. They run, they scream, they argue on who's going to stand next to who, but they try and they try and they try. Are they happy about it or not? Yes, they have joy because they're children, but here, what do you mean that they're children? I'll explain. We are learning that it's supposed to lead a person to despair from his own forces. So as children in the beginning there's that natural excitement, but how do we awaken that force of the Creator that will truly come and replace that natural excitement? Because we understand that that has to end at some point, and we need to receive the forces from above, the joy from above. Child, when he runs, then you help him to attain the goal. If he fails, he will cry to give him help, so that he will truly attain the goal to a certain extent. So he doesn't despair, he doesn't fall. You have to give him joy that he's achieving something at least. So I'm saying during the process, and I'm sure we'll get there, but in the process we must have that joy from within, just like we learned today. That's why it's hard to give up on this article, because it obliges us to have this force of joy from the right in order to truly build and go on both feet. Can't. Yeah. No. Well, does anybody recommend anything this question? Oh, we started the lesson in which the left line is a deficiency to bestow. I'm feeling it's a def. We came to this to The end of the lesson where sadness and our whole state that we're feeling life is the left line. I feel like the only place where this right line and left line is in the morning lesson, and we need to be thankful for that and be joyous about it. I think if there was an exercise, if we could connect the Creator to all of this reality, all that David here described about what's happening in our reality, etc., we would somehow be able to translate it and invert it or deficiency. For I think it would help us meaning somehow to maybe hear if there was an advice of how do we take this whole reality, everything that's being revealed. And we have many tastes and all kinds of directions, and we try each time to keep the Creator in this picture. He's aiming us to this deficiency for bestowing this. I think it would add joy in our work, and it will refresh us in this work. I think that's what we're missing. Yet there's a certain stage in the article he talks about the faith in the sages, that we have merited the faith of sages, and he gives the example of the deficiency in corporality hand, where you see I see someone has half of what I have, so I can be happy with what I have. On the other hand, in spirituality, when we have been rewarded here with a little spirituality and others have not, and to hold on to that joy that we've been rewarded here in spirituality, and that's what will take us onwards to the right line. In that place we will be able to reveal the great deficiency for Theo that we're missing, that we want to attain. That's how it seems to be like, how the approach should be nice. Isn't okay? No? Well, no, yeah. You understand that in the end he writes that we need to remember that the work on the right is called wholeness. It's the general work. I mean, we need incorporation. According to what I understand from what he says, then we need, he writes, to work in the intention, which is kind of like the solution to the whole story. So how do we work with the intention? That's what he constantly explains to us, the solutions that he brings or the questions he asks. It's not about actions, it's about intentions that I understand, but from the incorporation, only from the incorporation we can work with the intention. Yes, only from incorporation. Incorporation is our only action. No, is that what we're doing here in the lesson? That's what we want to do. Okay. No, maybe a little bit of an old question. I hope it's to the point about the left and right in the 10. If there's an example in our world where people are in all kinds of groups, let's say, doesn't matter if it's school studies, military, one of our friends in our group doesn't come to the group meeting, so there's a certain negative response. Usually could be that we'll lower their grade, or a punishment in the military, or even punishment in at work in our 10 if a friend doesn't come. Usually we wrap him. The response is not negative really, that there's something that, oh, I'm afraid tomorrow not to come because of a group action, meaning the response is more of forgiveness, and the question is whether that's the right form in spirituality, because if you activate negativity, I see this in our world. A person tries not to get late or not to miss because he sees the punishment before his eyes. My question is whether here in the 10, what's the form that actually, what's the correct attitude towards such cases? I didn't hear that. Cyst bring people down in a certain way. You say they don't. What, they don't punish people? Oh, they don't punish in some way, specifically positively, and how to contain it. That's a person has to understand through love. As much as he is in is disappointing, ask a little bit more. Even if the other form, there's a chance that it would bring him to the lesson you're saying. Nevertheless, we need, I don't think, I think that anything comes in a different form eventually. Will just person out all right? Okay. No. Well, I don't get to that, but I have to share something positive. I want to say that really the connection is the remedy for everything. We, PT9, closed ourselves up on Friday. Between Friday and Saturday, we did gatherings of friends. We were integrated in one another. We felt, really, you can't even describe this now. When I hear our friends saying that it's not here, it's not default, so I just wanted to say that. Yesterday we sat in the lesson, and my feeling was that we're after the convention. There's such days that they're before convention. That's how we felt. The lesson that we already went through, we already made it through the convention, so really kind of like we want to give this gift to the friends. Connection is the remedy for everything. We need to believe in this. This is our only help. Like this is the only aid we have. Connection is the remedy for everything. It's the medicine. Okay friends, a short report about the convention that we have in 2 weeks. Live in the 10 that will take place from between the 27th the 28th of January. First of all, the convention is taking place in our permanent tents. In addition, whoever is interested in and once you can travel to gatherings around the world, you can see the list of gatherings on the convention. One site, there's a gatherings around the world section over there that you can find. Just go in there and feel free to travel and to register. An additional thing that we wanted to say about the gatherings differ to our situation here in Israel, and all together the gatherings in the world happens in places that usually are always virtual. So specifically now, there's a convention and there's an opportunity to gather together with all the friends in the region and to take advantage of this. A moment for connection. Enter that. Look at the list. Whoever can do it, go for